Welcome back. This is the Daily Thunder Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Woods. I'm here tonight, as usual, with Daily Thunder beat writer Brandon Rahbar. Brandon, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. It was a step in the right direction if you want to get a Cade Cunningham or an Evan Mobley or one of the Jalen's tonight.
Yeah,
And
it
there
was.
there were some fun positives tonight that you don't usually see in a 20-point blowout.
Yeah. Oklahoma City dropped tonight's game 123-102 at Chicago. Really, the starters from the beginning of the game just got really worked. Zach LaVine was completely unguardable, and we should note Lou Dort was out tonight. He was a late scratch. Did you see that one? Was that like hour and a half before the game, or was that earlier in the day?
Yeah, it was when Mark Daigneault made it official in his media call, which was an hour and a half before tip-off. He was questionable as of even last night, and then all day today. I think that, they probably knew that he wasn't going to play, but, wanted to play the charade with Billy Donovan a little bit.
Right.
Make Zach LaVine sweat a little bit, but I'm sure Zach was the most pumped about Lou Dort not playing tonight. That's for sure.
No question. And he took full advantage. He went for 40. He was a plus 36. He went 7 for 12 from the 3-point line, 15 of 20 overall, 75% from the floor, 58% from the 3-point line. It was just incredible. He is such an incredible scorer. Lauri Markkanen, so real quick, 22 to go along with that. So yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's so funny. First impressions are so everlasting. Every time Zach LaVine shoots it, he's been shooting over 40% from 3-point range all season long, and he's been a great shooter for a couple of years now. But I still just see him as like this athletic slam dunk champion. So even now, knowing he's a great shooter, when he goes up for a shot, I'm like, yeah, it's not going in. He's just a dunker.
That kid can just light it up. He's one of those guys, like when he gets it going, he's one of the few guys it's like you text people like, hey, LaVine, get to a screen pretty quickly. It's incredible. I love watching him get hot. So Oklahoma City got a pretty incredible game for Moses Brown. Second straight game for him to just show what he's capable of. He went career high tonight, 20 points. He got his career high 14 points in the first half. So big night for him, 16 rebounds, 8 offensive rebounds, 8 defensive rebounds, and 5 blocks. Go ahead with the Moses Brown stat of the night and the benchmark he hit.
Oh yeah, well, there's two.
Yeah,
he had a first half. He had a first half triple double with 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 commandments. and then I was pretty proud of that one.
I was hoping that was the second one that you were bringing up.
Yeah, I had to recycle that one. No, I had to lead with that one. It's better than the official stat.
It is. It is. We should have responded to Thunder Communications with that. Like, hey, you guys missed this one.
Yeah, we should have. He was incredible tonight. 20 points. He's only the second player in Thunder history to have over 20 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 block shots. Serge Ibaka was the other one. So you had last game, Poku became the youngest player in Thunder history to score 20 or more points, passing Kevin Durant. Then you had Moses Brown matching a Serge record tonight. These are two guys that were just recalled from the G League. So I guess that means that Ty Jerome is going to break Russell Westbrook's 2020 game next game out. It's just remarkable what these young guys are doing and how well they're playing. Moses, though, looks legit from the standpoint of his rebounding and his blocked shots. That's something he showed in the G League and in limited time with the Thunder. He's 7'2" and he's long. The only reason he wasn't drafted or more highly thought of was just because he doesn't have a jumper. And in
Hmm.
today's NBA, that's you can't have that. That's like the letter A on your forehead. You just can't do it. But
Yeah, I
he's a
do.
he,
I
he
I do
looks
want to
like he
say
could be a
about. Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh no, he just looks like he could be a legit player.
Yeah, and I do want to say like it's a bit of a reminder, right, about these G League guys are they're very good. If they get enough minutes in an NBA game, they're going to show you what they have. And Moses is doing the same thing. We saw it with Poku coming back. He's getting more and more comfortable. But yeah, these guys are when given the opportunity, they can, they're there to take advantage of it. They don't want to go back to that G League squad. They want to stay with this Thunder team. So good for Moses to take advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah, and these guys, Sam Presti has a new type. These guys are all try hard, high energy, high effort guys. So, even on a night when the Thunder are getting blown out just because, I mean, they're playing G League players, they're playing third stringers, they're playing rookies and sophomores. I mean, the starting lineup was the second or third youngest starting lineup of all time, something like that. I mean, they're transitioning fully to youth. They are trying very clearly to get a top 5 pick now. It's like go time.
Hmm.
But all that said, these young guys still want to play hard. They're trying to prove themselves,
Yep.
and that's why you see a guy like Moses Brown. Yeah, it's a 20-point blowout, but he has a career night. A guy like that. That's what this development is about. You might uncover a gem.
Yep.
That you would have never got. He would have never got minutes before, and you just look at his G League stats and like, yeah, it's G League. Justin Patton did that. Dakari Johnson did that. But then you give a guy minutes in a real game, maybe he'll show out like Moses did tonight, and maybe there's something there.
Yeah, and the other parts of the G League conversation is that the two of the guys that'll be in the top five of this year's draft, coming from that G League Ignite team, Jalen Green and Jonathan Kaminga. Those guys, when evaluating them, just remember they're playing against dudes like Moses Brown who can come into an NBA game and perform, and they're playing with guys like Jarrett Jack and other former NBA players. So um, I would say that it's don't underestimate the talent that they've been going up against when you evaluate their tape and the numbers that they've put up. Those guys are legit, and I would say that the competition that they faced in limited games is much higher across the board than what even a Cade or Jalen Suggs or Evan Mobley have been going against this year in college.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because I think that most people, when they hear G League, like guys from a G League, it's obviously thought of as a second-rate league for good reason. It's not the NBA, and you think of guys like I said, like Dakari or Deontay Burton, who put up big numbers. But even over the last couple of years, the G League has been infused with a lot more talent than they were before. Not
Yep.
only because of Jalen Green and Jonathan Kaminga, but guys like Jarrett Jack. They're legitimate NBA players, whether that's future NBA players or guys that have played in the NBA that are bouncing back to the G League right now. Guys that are forgoing college and want to get paid. There's more talent now in the G League than there was before. So the numbers, you can pay a little bit more attention to them. You don't have to just automatically, poo-poo them away like you did before
No
when
question. And
Deontay Burton was scoring 25 points a night.
and and like Lou Dort at the beginning of last year, he was putting up incredible numbers at the beginning of the season, and very quickly you saw um, guys that are really in tune with that league saying, Oklahoma City has an incredible player playing for their G League team, and it's just a matter of time before he starts getting minutes. And literally within like 10 to 14 days, he was starting for Oklahoma City. That it is a much better barometer for a player right now than NCAA competition. Like it's just so much higher than college and even overseas. Like these guys that are playing overseas, not necessarily where Poku came from, but a lot of leagues that you see overseas are even higher competition levels of competition than NCAA. So very, very good to see Moses Brown come up and really do some stuff when given the chance. played almost. You played right at 30 minutes, tick under 30 minutes tonight. As did Poku, and Shea was another quality, efficient scoring night from Shea. He continues to the handle just continues to improve. That was my main takeaway from him tonight is how just easily and comfortably he gets by guys with the dribble now. It's not just his speed and size, it's his handle to get by guys.
Yeah, and he's doing this, like I mentioned, I think in a past pod, with less space on the floor than
Yes.
any other star player. I mean, it's a statistical fact now that he's doing this with less space, and he's doing this with, like we said, lesser players, and guys are doubling him now. He's getting doubled in the paint. It doesn't matter who you throw at him, who's around him, who he's playing with, what defender is on him. He's going to get his, and he's going to do it efficiently. It's really, really impressive what Shea's doing. And here's what's impressive too. This was considered a bad night for him. He still scored 21 points in 3 quarters because he didn't play the fourth quarter on 10 of 17 shooting. Really should have been 11 of 17 shooting for 23 points, but Moses Brown just nicked the basket on a really pretty shot, a
Yeah.
layup that Shea had that actually went in, and Moses Brown didn't need to touch anything to get
And
2 points off the board.
I'll say the replays that I saw, it didn't look like he touched it. it
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw one where it was definitive. I could be totally wrong, but the every replay I saw, I kept looking for his contact with the ball and I just didn't see it.
yeah. I saw the replays too, and it was hard to tell because he definitely goes up like he's gonna hit it, and it's hard to tell if he actually pulls back in time because it's kind of like he realized, oh, the ball's going in, I don't need to do this, so he
Mhm.
pulled away, and I can't tell if he made contact or if he pulled away. Either way, though, again, Moses Brown trying to hustle and make a play, Shea dropping a basket that shouldn't go in. Shea had 8 turnovers tonight, and it was kind of a talking point in
Yeah.
the media Zoom call. And to me, I was like, this is great. God love Russell Westbrook. He's my all-time favorite player. But if Russ got 8 turnovers in a night, nobody's even talking about it. That's just, it's just, and it's not just Russ. James Harden, LeBron James, these
Yeah.
guys get 8 turnovers in a night all the time. Shea never does. It was a talking point. It was a big deal because Shea never turns the ball over like that. So to me, that was a good thing. It kind of brought to the forefront and brought to the attention of me and other people like, oh, yeah, this is weird.
Yeah.
He had a lot of turnovers tonight.
And it's another positive, I would say, for Oklahoma City to get some of these. I mean, you're gonna have those turnover nights with when you have such a revolving rotation. It's not a consistent group night to night. And so yeah, there are gonna be nights. We saw Roby with a bunch of turnovers just a couple nights ago. So this was a night
Yeah,
where the 3-point shot didn't bail them out like it did the other night. And when the team turns the ball over like they did tonight, what was it, 17 turnovers? You're gonna, especially against just 11. I mean, for a lot of the last few for Chicago came in garbage time. Like they did a good job protecting the ball most of the night. And when Oklahoma City's not shooting the ball as well as they did the other night, you're gonna see, what you would expect to see with these lineups the way that they are, a blowout loss.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the revolving door of players coming in and out. I mean, Shea's basically introducing himself to his teammates like before tip off, like, oh, hey, I'm Shea. Who are you? Like every night now.
Yeah.
And so it's like pickup ball. There's not the chemistry. There's not, it's amazing to me what Shea's doing. I mean, when you look at beyond the numbers themselves are impressive, but when you look beyond the numbers, it gets even more impressive when you look at it in context. But one last thing I'll say about Moses Brown before I forget, I'm curious to see what happens with him as far as the possibility of him getting a real NBA contract instead of the two-way. They
Mhm.
might pull a Lou Dort special. They don't need to, but it might be a smart thing to go ahead and lock him in for a multi-year deal on a cheap contract if they think that he's showing something. Now, maybe not. Maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. Maybe, he's like, yeah, he's tall. He gets some blocks and some rebounds, but he's not, going to be here long term. But I don't know. I think there's something there with Moses Brown. I'm not saying he's going to be a starter or a difference maker, but could he be a guy that is a quality reserve center for you and get you some rebounds and block shots? And you might want to lock him up for a few years for cheap. Yeah, I could see that with him.
Yeah. And a couple other guys I wanted to talk about as far as long-term fits is the two just gems off the bench, and that's Kenrich Williams. We'll start with him. He's got 2 years left on his deal, both at $2 million, same that he's making this year. But the last 2 years are team options. So, um, do you see them, bringing him back, picking up that option for, a bench role going forward?
So Hamidou Diallo was my biggest mystery as far as what the Thunder are going to do with him, because I felt like the smart thing to do was going to be to trade him, because I didn't think they'd want to pay him off an expiring contract what he would want, but they were proud of his development. Now that he's been traded, my biggest mystery left is Kenrich Williams, because this guy is a real quality bench player. I mean, just everything. When you look at his plus minus, the way he's scoring efficiently, he's shooting over 40% from three. He hustles everywhere. He gets rebound. He's just the perfect glue guy. I
Yep.
think he would be perfect on so many benches. And like you said, his contract is fantastic. I would say it's the best on the team if Lou Dort didn't exist.
Yep.
So I think that they might keep him because his perceived value isn't going to be as high as his actual value. And so maybe, let him play this year out. And then as he gets noticed more and maybe get some more minutes next season, maybe then you flip him when the value is higher and you can get something better for him. Or maybe you're like, hey, he's only 26. He could stick around and, be around for the long term. I could see that. Well, I like him a lot.
Yeah. He's such a to his credit and his advantage, I think it's going to be easier for him to stick because he's 6'6". On nights where, you have a Lou Dort out, or one of those two or three spots, a guy goes down. He's such an easy plug and play guy in the starting lineup.
I'll tell you what, I think, and I mean this, I think he's the Thunder's best overall and most consistent bench player, and that includes Mike Muscala, who I like a lot. Uh, but Kenrich is so good on both sides, and he's
Yeah.
so versatile. He can play so many positions. He can play 2 through 4.
Hmm.
Uh, and that includes Hamidou Diallo before they trade him, just because of the consistency and because of the outside shooting, and again the two-way play. But again, I think the perceived value of Muscala and Hami would be higher. So I don't know if they trade him just because they couldn't get back what he's actually worth right now. I like him a lot.
Yeah, and like you're saying, like at $2 million, it's a win either way. It's a win
Right.
whether they move on, or if it's a win, it's a win if they keep him. And the other guy that I wanted to talk about is Ty Jerome off the bench. He really does look like a great 1/2 guard to get minutes off the bench. Like, if going forward your backup backcourt is Ty Jerome and Teo Maladon, like, look out. Like, that is a really, really strong option off the bench.
Yeah, the Thunder had to figure out who they're going to put next to SGA and Dort in the starting lineup for the future when they want to contend. But if you told me that the backups were going to be Jerome, Maladon, Moses Brown, and Kenrich Williams for the next era of Thunder basketball, I'd say that is a great bench lineup. And that's only 4 guys. Maybe throw in Poku, depending on what happens with him. But I really like the idea of the Ty and Teo show
Mhm.
running the backcourt on the bench. That could be a really, really solid. They're young. They can play the 1 and 2. Both of them. They can both shoot. They can both play make. They're both two-way players potentially. Great future for the Thunder bench backcourt, if you ask me.
Yeah. They got another, efficient night from Ty and Kenrich off the bench, and that was really the unit. They went on a 22-3 run there in the second quarter, and I believe they still lost the second quarter, but that was the only one that was No, Oklahoma City won. Yeah, they won the second by 6. That was the quarter that brought him back pretty close, and I thought it was going to be, a nail biter. It looked like it at halftime that this game was going to go the distance, and Chicago came out and just put the clamps on Oklahoma City in the third. 16 points for Oklahoma City in the third, and that was about it. But yeah, I thought it was when you're looking at down the line, this is the kind of night you need, and this is the kind of night I think that Oklahoma City is expecting at when they put out a lineup and a roster like they did tonight.
Yeah, exactly. The subtext here is that the Thunder are clearly going after a top 5 pick. As much fun as all these players are that we're talking about, they're not going to be the difference makers in contending for a title, which is the Thunder's ultimate goal. Shea is the guy. You can contend with him, but you got to have blue chip talent around him. And that's why the Thunder are not playing Al Horford or Lou Dort or Mike Muscala. That's why they're going to be trading George Hill, because that's what it's about. It's about putting an elite talent next to Shea. And then these other guys can hopefully, fill in the edges and be better role players. That was probably the one thing, the first era of basketball, Thunder basketball, that was truly missing. You had Katie and Russ, and then you had some really great role players in Serge and Adams, and then of course Harden when he was here. But they didn't have, when you're looking at say 5 through 10, that's where the Thunder were weak back in the day. When you're filling in with an aging Caron Butler, or it's hard to even think of as much as I love him, Amo. When you're filling in the gaps with those guys,
mm-hmm.
maybe these role players can be better for the Thunder moving forward. They just got to get that elite talent next to Shea. So find the positives in games like this. There's going to be 20-point blowouts. So look at the positives. Nobody really cares about the final score because that's not important.
No question. They are doing themselves favors. And I was going to ask you, do you think we've seen the last Horford game?
I do. I shouldn't say this. So, it sounds like I had some sort of like source or something like that. That you may want to cut that out. That sounds way more exciting than what I intended.
Just conjecture. Just conjecture.
Yeah. My guess here is that there's going to be an Al Horford trade, only because the Thunder are clearly not playing him so that they can lose games. But you can't do that for the rest of the season with Al Horford. He's too good. You can't just rest a guy that great of a player. The Thunder don't want to do that. They're too classy to do that. Al Horford doesn't want to do that. He wants to play. He's too classy to do that. But he gets it. He gets the position they're in. So you can't just keep sitting him. But if you play him and Shea are going to win you too many games, especially when you look at this group of games coming up. They got some real cupcakes coming up on the schedule. So if you want to lose games and you don't want to play Al Horford, the only solution is maybe there's a trade coming. I'm just guessing.
Yeah,
it's just conjecture, but I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm my spidey senses are going off with these with these Horford sits.
Yeah, I'll say this. Saying that he's not going to play another game for the Thunder seems a little crazy because there's still a little bit of time before the trade deadline. But I'm going to say it. Forget it. I'm going to go out there.
Last game, we've seen it. Well, I'm interested to see if it is, because that obviously that gives Moses Brown like the green light for the rest of the year, and as well as Roby and Poku, they're going to get a ton of minutes. Baisley, if and when he's back, like he's going to get a ton of minutes, which is, at the beginning of the year, that's what we all wanted, right? Was to get these young guys max minutes and let them go learn a ton and get a lot of mistakes out and hopefully grow together while losing games.
We kind of lost the plot there for a little bit because the Thunder were winning so many games and Shea was coming a superstar. So it got kind of exciting to see the wins but the point of this season was to bottom out and put a star next to Shea, and got a little sidetracked. But I think that the the train is back on course for that to happen.
That is the best way to put it is they lost the plot.
Yeah.
What a great description of this Oklahoma City season so far is they went through a spell where they just lost the plot. The idea was never to win even 15 games. And I think we would have all said around 10 or 11 wins was what we thought this team was capable of, and that was probably selling Shea too short. He's such a great player, and he has taken such a leap that he's good enough to will a team, if they get enough shooting from the other guys around him on a few nights, and yeah, they're going to win games because he is that good. Especially with a guy as professional as Horford. We haven't seen George Hill in what seems like 3 years, but those guys are good enough to get you a few more wins.
Right, exactly. That you're playing with fire if you allow somebody as good as Al Horford to play with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, totally. And I think we saw it pretty early on. Like they came out of the gate so strong and so competitive. Even when they lost, it was like, wow, they're kind of good. They're kind of good, and they play really well together. And again, this coaching staff is exceeding every single expectation. So this is kind of what we were expecting. It just took a while to get there.
I'm glad we're not going to see it, but I gotta wonder. I can't help but wonder how good a team they could have actually put out if everybody would have played together. If Trevor Ariza would have actually played with the Thunder and George Hill didn't get hurt, now Horford wasn't resting on back-to-backs and all those things. I just got to wonder, like, could they have made the playoffs? Like, they were supposed to bottom out, but Shai's leap and Al Horford proving that he still had, shades of his all-star ability makes you wonder. It just shows how much this team has overachieved and exceeded expectations. It's just really impressive. But let's get back to trying to put a Kuminga or one of the Jalen's or Cade or Mobley around Shai.
We've talked a few times about these prospects and which ones we like and which ones we have a little higher than others. And at the beginning of the year, you were really, really high on Mobley and as kind of the guy behind right after Cade. And I was like, I'd rather them not take a big, but man, I watched his game the other night. Oh my God, he is so awesome. He is so awesome on both ends. He has such incredible feel on the offensive end for his height, for his size, for his position, and he's lightning fast off the floor, second and third jump. He's such a great shot blocker. He has great feel for the game on both ends. It's amazing. He's such a good passer. He's a really, he's a capable shooter, and I think that's only going to improve. But man, he's good.
I'm telling you, man, he's like Moses Brown meets Cat.
He's phenomenal.
No, I really, obviously Cade is my number one guy, but I think truly the drop off from Cade to Mobley is smaller than the drop off for me than the rest of the three. Like I am a big Mobley guy. And I'm not high on taking a center. When you want a blue chip talent, I'd rather it be a wing because those are the more dominant guys in today's era of basketball. But that's how good I think Mobley can be. I think there's 5 guys that are, franchise guys, but I think the 2 at the top, Cade and Mobley, I think they're truly, truly special. Like, talk about possible generational type talents.
Mm-hmm.
I think that those 2 guys stand out. That's how good I think Mobley is.
He is incredible, and as is Jalen Suggs. I'm excited to watch Gonzaga. I'll just say it now. I've got Gonzaga winning the whole thing, and I don't think I've ever been this comfortable filling out a bracket. At least like as far as the winner, like pretty easy for me. And we'll probably old takes expose this clip here whenever they lose in like the second round. But man, Gonzaga is so awesome.
Yeah,
Really
no,
excited to
Gonzaga.
watch Suggs play.
Yeah, Gonzaga is amazing. I'd be happy with Suggs. I'd be really happy with Corey Kispert. With if the Thunder somehow get, hopefully not with their own pick. That would be a disaster if that's the best pick that the Thunder get. But if for some crazy reason Christian Wood came back and Oladipo got it together and the Rockets started winning some games, if the Thunder can somehow get Kispert with that pick, that would be fantastic. That Gonzaga team's really good.
Yeah, they're awesome. I've been watching a little more of Scotty Barnes, and they're you know people that haven't quite caught up to what Oklahoma City looks like this year and the prospects that Presti seems to be more interested in. They all are like, what an Oklahoma City type of prospect, a guy who, struggles shooting, but is such a versatile defender and is just a massive player. So it does make me wonder, like, if they have their pick, if they get their pick of the best of the rest outside the top five, is that who they go with? Because he is that type of guy. He is everything that Oklahoma City went after pre 2020. So I'm very curious to see if that's who they're targeting, or if this new era will be more about shooting and skill guys like Kispert.
Real, I really truly think that the Thunder have kind of turned the page, and everybody that they brought in since they've started the rebuild has been guys that can play make, they can pass, they can dribble, they can shoot, or at least have the ability to shoot. Usually two-way players. So I really think that the stereotypical punchline of long athletic defenders who can't shoot is a thing of the past. And it makes you wonder how much of that was Sam Presti and how much of that was Troy Weaver. Because look, Troy Weaver wanted Hamidou Diallo pretty badly. He wanted Jeremy Grant, although Jeremy Grant can shoot now, obviously. But you do wonder how much of that is Weaver's influence and how much was Presti. It was probably both. But maybe Troy Weaver and the Pistons go after Scotty Barnes.
Yeah.
Scotty Barnes is a really good player, and I would like him if the Thunder have a top 5 pick and they take one of those other 5 guys. I'd be more than happy to take Scotty Barnes with the second one. But Scotty Barnes is not the second guy I want to put next to Shea to build
Exactly.
around. They've got to have somebody that can shoot in this era of basketball. You can't waste a top pick on a guy who's a project shooting, I don't think. And no disrespect to Scotty Barnes. I think he's going to be a great player, but he's got to be on the right team, surrounded by guys who can shoot, and then he can be a real impact player.
Yeah. He feels so Spursy to me. Every time I watch him, I just picture him in a Spurs uniform. Oh, what you're saying about putting somebody with that second pick, if Oklahoma City were to get into the top 5 and then had a second pick in the top 10, I think Kispert is such an awesome player to put with one of those top 5 guys plus Shea plus Dort. He's such a skilled player, very, very, kind of has everything as far as offense goes. He's an elite shooter. He's probably the best shooter in the draft. And then he's not just a shooter.
Corey Kispert is who Miami Heat fans think Tyler Hero is.
Wow. Wow. I was going to say, it's kind of a lazy comparison, admittedly, because he kind of looks like him, but the Joe Harris comparison has been thrown out a bunch. I think he just has more to his game than, like, he kind of reminds me more of like Chandler Parsons or like Tim Hardaway Jr., like someone that's just got a bit more to his game on the offensive end than just shooting. Even though he is, that will be the focal point of his game. People will run him off the line, but he has so much more to offer as a playmaker and a screener and a passer. He's really big. And so, yeah, I'm excited for Kispert no matter where he goes. Like, he's one of my favorite guys.
Yeah, I think that he's the guy outside of the top 5. Maybe I should say outside of the top 7 or 8. There's so many interesting guys in that 6 to 14 area.
Yeah.
That when you look at Springer and you look at Jalen Johnson, you look at Kispert, there's a lot of really interesting guys. Scotty Barnes, Zaire Williams. But Kispert is the one that stands out to me just because Thunder fans have been so starved for shooting for so long. You see anybody that can shoot 40% from three. You're like, oh, that's the guy. Take that guy.
Exactly.
But I would love my dream scenario would be for the Thunder to pick either Cade or Mobley, but if not, one of the other three guys, and then Kispert. Whether that's trading up with the Miami pick and maybe the Golden State or Timberwolves pick or whatever it may be to get Kispert to add as well. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, and another guy people seem really high on is Book Knight from UConn. Have you seen any of him?
I have, yeah, I like him as well. As a matter of fact, one of the mocks had the Thunder taking him. It may have been, I don't know if it was the Ringer or the Athletic. Some mock had the Thunder with him, but
he's quite a scorer. He can really score it.
Yeah, I like him. I like Moses Moody.
Yeah,
there's some really interesting guys in it, but that's why I want a top 5 pick and a top 10 pick.
right. if they can get like, if they could get like 3 or 4 and then like 9, like 8 or 9, like they're gonna feel so good about where they are.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially when you look at this year and how competitive they accidentally were. Yes. Think about when if they could add some elite rookie talent and then try to be good.
Exactly. Then they have the opportunity and a team that can actually do what this team thinks they can do.
Right.
And that 7 to 10 play-in is not going away. The league sees too much money staring at them from adding those games to do away with them. That is going to stick around. And so even if you are, kind of where Oklahoma City is right now, just with a bit better of a roster, that you're going to have your shot, at playing one of those, playing in that play-in series. And that's even more exciting to think about, that a young team with a lot of promise can really go and play in high stakes games, even if they aren't in the top 8.
Yeah, it's exciting for the Thunder for 2 reasons. Like you said, as the team starts to be a playoff worthy team again, that they could have an extra shot at making the playoffs with a couple of extra seeds. But then on the other side of that, as the real rebuilding, there's going to be teams that maybe would have thought about tanking, but they're too close to the play-in, so they're actually going to try, which will make it easier for the Thunder to kind of tumble down the standings a little bit and get a higher pick. So it could work out for the Thunder both ways, while they're rebuilding and when they want to compete again.
And we mentioned Trevor Ariza earlier, and we should mention Kevin O'Connor put out a tweet during the game, a report that says sources: the Heat and Thunder are discussing a trade that would send Trevor Ariza to Miami. Oklahoma City is seeking a second-round pick for Ariza from numerous playoff teams with interest. So that's interesting on a few levels, but the main thing that sticks out to me is that more than one team is talking to Presti about Ariza, which means leverage for Presti, which usually means fun times in the 405.
Yeah.
So that's good. I saw another tweet. This is at Al Baby Cakes. Let's go ahead and give credit. Any contender going after Ariza should be going after Kenrich instead. And that's, having not seen Ariza all year, I think there's a lot of validity to that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like I said, Kenrich is my favorite Thunder bench player. I think he's the best one. But the perceived value, like I go back to that, he's just not thought of. I mean, these other teams, he's kind of this hidden gem right now. So the Thunder probably want to boost up his value, whether it be for a future trade or to keep him. So I'm with Albie on that one. As far as Ariza goes, getting anything for him is a huge win, and the Thunder are going to.
Yeah.
But that's what stuck out to me as well, was the several teams part. Because if you're looking for a second-round pick from Miami, that's going to be a bad second-round pick. They only have one left, and it's in 2027. Or they have the lesser second-round pick between the Nuggets and the 76ers, which is also going to be an awful second-round pick. So if there's other teams interested, and if they're trying to make the salary filler Myers Leonard, which is a little bit of PR hit, even if you immediately cut him, there's going to be other teams that can beat that Miami deal. Miami will have to sweeten it and make it a little bit better if they truly want Ariza.
If if they want Ariza, hopefully Presti uses other offers to get protections off of a future, maybe a pick that we already have from Miami. But other teams could come in and easily beat that. Like you're saying, that's a bad second round pick.
Yeah, it really is. So I would expect now that it's out for something to happen quickly. Usually Thunder deals don't linger. Once
Mm-hmm.
it's out there, it must be close to happening.
That's a good point.
And Presti just doesn't like those to linger. So whether it's Miami or another team steps up because he's using this as leverage, I'd expect it the next day or two, which is exciting.
How fun would it be to just get to listen in on Presti and Pat Riley talking about value of players?
Oh, I mean, those two guys, I mean, they're two of the best GMs in the league. And that's why it's so funny to think of them getting a deal done, because they usually get the most value and fleece the other guy. So this is just going to have to be a fair, straight, even value trade, because neither of them are going to get beat in a trade.
And those two were close to a deal, reportedly close to a deal last year around the deadline for Gallinari.
Yeah, exactly. But one of them probably thought that the other one was getting like 51% value and they were getting 49% value.
Yes.
So they're like, no, it's not happening.
Exactly. So you've got two guys that are very much not trying to give away any wiggle room in a trade.
Right.
And like we talked about, I wouldn't mind Presti taking a couple lumps in deals just to get these guys that are that really improve the team, get those guys away, just to get, and they can sit them. They don't have to necessarily move them for less than what they're worth just to not have them on the floor. But that's really what I'm focusing on. If there is a trade that happens that you're not like, wow, Presti didn't get that much, that may be kind of the thought process for those.
Yep. It may be addition by subtraction. Addition
Yes.
being
Yes.
a better draft pick. Subtraction being, you lose some value, but whatever.
Right. Exactly. All right. Oklahoma City is back at it on Thursday, and they are at Atlanta. We'll see. Atlanta got a win tonight over Houston. Houston has now lost 17 straight. Pretty remarkable. Speaking of a team who has not lost the plot, Houston. So we'll see how it goes on Thursday night. Brandon, thank you very much for joining me, man.
Absolutely, my man. Have a good night, Ryan.
All right, Thunder fans, talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. This is the Daily Thunder Podcast.